All right, hey everybody. So I'm going to show you the OBS Studio and give you an idea of what you need to do to accomplish producing the slideshow production using OBS Studio. All right, so I'm going to launch OBS. This is version 26.10. I'm not sure what you have. This is a fairly recent version. All right, here's the layout of OBS. You have in the studio mode here, so this is the option here where you can select between the standard mode, which is a single output screen only, or studio mode, which gives you a preview screen and a program screen, and this is much more similar to a television production environment. So this is the one that I would recommend you work with in order to be the most similar to what you would find in a studio. All right. So just a little bit of a rundown here. This is actually a project I've already put it together, so I'm going to give you a quick preview of what the final product would look like. And then I'm going to walk you back and start from scratch. So this bin here is called scenes. I only have one scene. This bin here is called sources. So all the sources in here are going to be used for this production, and I basically lined them all up and have them set to go in a certain order, starting from the bottom, believe it or not. So the bottom, the first thing we're going to have is a theme, and then the first video we're going to use is this shot of a surfer, and then we're going to bring in a graphic, and then we're going to cut to a shot of the swan in the lake, then we'll just dissolve to some of these other shots, and then finally we'll have a video clip of the ocean, and then we'll add a last graphic there, and then we'll cut to black. All right, so this is how it's going to work in real time. Here we go. So in our world, we have a associate director who gives us the commands to start a new take. So whenever we do a new take, we want to go through a series of commands and verifying everybody's ready to go. So it goes a little bit something like this. The AD would say to the director, "Are you ready?" The director says, "Yes, I'm ready." Then the AD says to the TD to please check the crew. In this case, most likely the crew is just one person. So the TD says your crew is ready. And the AD may say, "Please put slate online." So this is what a slate looks like here. This slate is a graphics page that has the title of the show, the director's name, the AD, the associate director's name, the date of the production, the length of the production, and the take. So I had done this already, so I'm going to actually reset this slate a little bit. So it's pretty easy. You just double click on it and it gives you the opportunity to jump in here and change it. I'm going to change it back to take one. Okay, so the slate is online, and then they would say, "Please record and acknowledge." I'm not going to actually do that right now, but that's what they would say. And then the TD would say stand by, and they would go ahead and record. So it would be recording using this control here. And next it would be, all right, 30 seconds to the floor. That means 30 seconds to the time that we're going to be actually starting the show. All right, so it's counting down. The AD would have a stopwatch to identify exactly where we are. And then at 15 seconds, they'll say stand by for black and beeps. So I'm going to put black on preview. And at 10 seconds, we're going to cut to black. And then the AD is counting down. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Ready theme. Preset image 1, 4, 3, 2, 1. Theme full. Stand by to fade in and fade in. All right. Oh, I didn't turn up the music here, so I forgot to turn it up. All right, let's turn on our graphic and dissolve to image with graphic, turn off graphic, and dissolve to clean image, preset image 2 right there, and dissolve to image 2. There we go. Little delay. Preset image 3 and dissolve to image 3. Preset image 4, dissolve. Preset image 5. I'm just turning them on so they're all layered on here. And then when I hit transition, what it does is it takes it from whatever's on preview and it puts it on program. And image 5 is on the air. Preset the video clip, make sure it's starting over. Okay, we gotta make sure it's turned on, and dissolve. Alright, turn on our graphic and insert video with graphic. Preset black, standby to fade audio and video, and fade audio and video. Alright, so that's basically the flow of the production. And let's go ahead and I'm going to show you how I built that. Alright, we're going to start completely from scratch. So OBS does not have your traditional save as function. They only have file controls to show recordings, so it shows some things that have been recorded in the past, but what I believe it does is it basically kind of instantly auto saves everything that you do, so you don't ever actually have to save anything, which is a nice default thing to have. But if you want to start a new project, what you need to do is you go up to the scene collection option, and here's a bunch of slideshows that I've already put together, and I've been kind of messing around with this all day long. So I'm gonna do one new one. I'm gonna call it a new. I'm not gonna call it new. I'm gonna call it slideshow. I don't know what number I'm up to. I think it's 4. All right. Let's see. Yeah, slideshow 4. Okay. So when I did that, you see it cleared out all the other information that was in here before. So it's basically starting from scratch. And this is where we want to set up a couple things. Usually when you start a show, you want to make sure your recording destination is set up so you know your show is going to be recorded. And I went through this pretty quickly, but hitting this little settings button over here under controls opens up a lot of the options that you can have to change things. General has a variety of things, but I'm not going to change any of those. This is a really great program for streaming, and it's used a lot, but we're not really using it for streaming too much. We're using it mostly just to record. Output is something where you might want to check especially the recording tab. You can keep type as standard. This is where you can set your recording path. By default, I believe it puts you, for Mac users, it puts you under your username and into the Mac's movies folder. I added another folder, so within the movies folder there's actually another folder called the OBS, so it looks something like this. I go to my users, that's my main user. Under movies there's a folder I created called OBS, and I probably recommend you do that too. So everything I record goes into that folder. Okay, that's where it's pointed. Recording format, that's another thing you might want to change, because I think when you start default mode it's MKV file format, and I'd recommend switching to MP4. MP4 is a more generally accepted file format, and especially like Canvas and things like that can play MP4 files, and it doesn't play MKV files. So make my life easier, so when I have to watch it, it will actually play. I won't have to get out VLC or something. Use stream encoder. Yeah, just go ahead and leave that. I haven't really explored these other options yet, so they may be great. I just don't know much very well. So that's kind of a key thing right there. That's your under output recording. For audio, yeah, we won't go into that right now. And then there is a separate audio tab that's also got some options. The video tab has a place where you can set up the resolution that's going to be recorded, or your screen resolution, canvas resolution. So I'm just leaving it here. It's 720p. Hotkeys is really a cool little function. So like when I want to do my transition, for example, if I want to do a cut, or most likely a fade, I think that's what it's set up for. The default transition is I just hit the space bar. I don't have to necessarily go up and hit that little button that says transition. I could simply hit the space bar. It's a little shortcut. And I believe I've also, well, I don't have anything else set up here right now. Advanced color format. I just leave all that stuff the way it is. Color space 709 is good. There's some file formatting name options here you could mess around with if you so choose. All right, that all looks good to me. Let's go ahead and open up some. So again, this is our one scene, and within the scene there's sources. So we're going to open up the images. Okay, let's pick our images. I'm going to say image 1, and I'm going to browse over to the folder that I had created earlier that has some images, California images. So here's my images. So I'll go start with the surfer person. So he's there in image 1. Do another image. Call it image 2. Browse to it. Go to swan. All right. Next, we're going to go to image. We're going to input image 3. And input image 4. I'm just going to do 5. For your projects, you're supposed to do like up to 10 to 20. But in the interest of moving things along, I'm keeping it relatively simple here. And then image 5, I'll get like this Yosemite shot. Okay, so those are the images we're going to use. And you can see as I make them visible or invisible, they actually change in the preview monitor. They don't change on the program monitor. So this is what's going to be recorded. So we have the ability to change things in the preview monitor, and that does not affect the program monitor. And that's what we want to do. All right, a couple other things I need to add. I want a color source. So I want a black color source, which is basically a black screen, black background. I'm going to call it. And in here you can select the color that you want. So you can make any color you want. If you wanted to have some other colored background, you could do that. I'm going to actually do this twice because I want to have a black source in the beginning, and I'm going to put a black source at the end of the show to fade in and fade out. It's just handy to have it all lined up. In fact, like I said, we're going to start at the bottom. So black 1 is going to be one of the first things we see. And then, what else did I say? There's also a couple of video sources. So I'll just put one video source in here. So if you have video or an audio clip, you use the media source option. And again, you can just simply select whatever it is and pull it off of your local hard drive. Pop it in there. So this is labeled media source. I don't really like that, so I can right click in there and rename it, and I'll call it Ocean Wave Video. Ocean Waves Video. And then one more thing I want to pop in here, another media source, is the theme music. I could either name it here or I can rename it once I bring it in. You have some options there. So I had a music cut in here. This was labeled Kamiko. It's an MP3. Okay, and then the theme music, again, I want to kind of put that towards the beginning. I had a lot of issues with the theme not playing through um, while I was showing different images. For a long time I was having issues with I would play the theme, and as soon as I cut to one of the other images, the theme would automatically stop. And it took a while to really overcome that issue, and the only thing I really figured out was if I put the theme at the very bottom, um, it continues to play as I transition through the different images. If I had put the theme like up higher or at the top, it seems to want to stop after transitioning. So my best practice at this time, knowing what I know and not a whole lot more, is to keep the theme at the bottom. That way it'll continue to play in what a fashion we call theme under, where it stays throughout the entire production. So let's see. Oh, and then we also have to build a couple graphics. So you can build graphics under the text option. So we're going to build a title graphic, and it's going to be we're going to call this California Nature. It's something along those lines. It doesn't give you a whole lot of options for centering and things like that, or justifying. But I do like I do like the font Georgia. It kind of gives me a California vibe. And you can change the size of it here too. It gives you 256, which is pretty massive. So you could change the size. It's still going to be too big, but you can still resize it even with the bounding box over here. And if you want to change the color, it gives you a gradation actually. So if you hit like top color, it'll give you a gradient. All right. But if you want a full solid color, you as far as I know, this is the only way to do it. You have to make the color 1 and color 2 the same. I kind of like the gradation, so I'm gonna go with that California looking thing. And you can put on drop shadow or an outline. So I'm gonna go with drop shadow. All right. So I've got a graphic, and the graphic's actually going to be coming in right along with image 1 here. So I'm going to tie those, not tie them together, but have them in the same vicinity. And I want to make one more graphic, but I want to do, instead of redoing all those attributes, I want to do something a little different. I'm going to right click, I'm going to say copy, and then I'm going to, and I want to paste it. I want to paste it as a duplicate. If I place it as a duplicate, what it does is it gives me all of the font attributes, the font style, the color, the size, but it allows me to change the actual text. So I know the text I want to be different. All right, this is just a little credit at the end. All right. So that way, I don't want it to be labeled title graphics either, so I can rename it here. I can call it credit graphics. All right. So we have a title graphics, and then at the very end we have credit graphics, and black 2 should go at the very, very end. If you want to move things around, you could either drag them and drop them, or you could also use these little arrow keys. Boom, boom, up and down, boom, boom, boom. Fancy. So a little tweaking we need to do. Every image needs to be tweaked a little bit. So first we can play the music. Let's see if we get anything there. No, we're not hearing it yet. I'm not hearing it. I think that's because I have to go to advanced audio properties, and you can get to that using the gear icon here. Advanced audio properties, and you see where it says monitor off. Well, I want monitor to be on, and you should probably instantly hear the music now. Okay, so we're going to pause that, or we're going to stop it, I should say. Alright, now I'm going to turn all the visibility off on all of our images and our videos. And I'm going to go back and I'm just going to check them all. Check them all individually. Like for example, this one. This is actually a shot of the surfer, but when it brings it into OBS, it brings it in its original. I'm actually adjusting the wrong thing here. What I'm actually adjusting is black, because that's what's currently highlighted. So let me change this here. I don't want to adjust black. I don't want to change anything. It's like someone's doing a jackhammer outside the window. It's very late. All right. Anyway, what was I doing? Image 1. So we turn it on. All right, now that it's highlighted and now that it's visible, there, now I can move image 1. So this is the only way I've discovered how to resize images. You just kind of take the corner, or you could even take the middle part, wherever there's a little indication that there's like a control option, and you can drag it and resize. It actually is very easy to resize things on this program, which I like. It's probably the easiest one. So I just check it, make sure it's filling the whole frame. What I mean by that is, if it's not filling the whole frame, it's like, if it's off a little bit, you're going to get some little black, which just means you're seeing the background. You want to make sure you're filling the whole frame. If you choose images that are able to fill the whole frame. If you choose images that are smaller than the whole frame, you're going to have some issues with your visibility. I think you'll know what I mean when you get to it. So let's see title graphic. Let's see, I like to stick it right there. So now if I turn the title graphic visibility on, then you can see this is what that image looks like with the graphic, and I can actually transition to it, and that'll be recorded. Then I could go back and turn off the graphic and then transition again, and it goes back to the clean version of the image. All right. So anyway, image 1's looking good. Let's see what image 2 looks like. Let's make sure we highlight it. That's 2 is a little bit too big too, so we have to resize. Let's resize it. Try to fill the screen. Everything looks pretty good. Maybe I'll make it a little bit higher. And I like that a little bit better. Okay, that's good. Try image 3. Once again, we want to highlight image 3. That gives us the bounding box and the controls, the drag and drop controls. And let's transition to it, see what it looks like. It looks beautiful. Okay, that one's fabulous. Image 4. Highlight it. Don't forget to highlight it. That's one of the things that gets you. Okay, that one looks nice. Image 5. Highlight it. Resize it. Alright, and transition. Make sure it looks fully. Looks like it's a little bit off right there. Yeah, it's still a little bit off at the top. Alright, to me that looks like it's good. Alright, and then the video is also a little trickier because you have to play that. Alright, so you play it and you see, well, that's clearly not right. That's not what I signed up for. Where's my waves? So again, you have to reset it. Reset your size. Fill your screen. And retransition to it. So make sure you're full screen. And then finally the last graphic, that's going to be overlaid here. So let's see how that looks. It looks pretty good. I'd rather center it up a little bit. So I wish there was a center option, but I don't know how. Maybe he has it, but I don't know how. So that looks great. Nice and California-ish. Alright, so now we're actually ready to go. I think we got everything in line. Make sure our audio is turned up. So there's audio off the theme. There's also audio off this video clip. And I don't want any of that audio to be heard, so I'm going to just bring that control to 0. Alright, just in case I don't want to hear that. Alright, but I do want to hear our theme, so let's make sure our audio's up there. And let's see. We're going to start, so let's turn off the visibility on these upper layers and transition. It's kind of nice to have these two transitions available up here. So you can do either cut or a fade, and you have to add those. I don't know, there's no point of having two cuts. I guess you could also add, that's all you can do. Oh, you can add a fade to black too. That one's kind of new. So maybe at the very end we could just fade to black instead of hitting black too. That's another option. Well, so we'll try that. All right. So let's do this thing. It's 25 minutes in. You guys are getting antsy last time through. All right. So AD says, oh, we didn't make our slate. So sorry, we got to make a new slate. Text. I'll just say okay. We'll say title. California Nature. Director. Jim Patrick. AD. Jim Patrick. Date 1/8/21. Length. It's about 90 seconds or so. Say about 90 seconds. Or you can go 130. And then take is going to be take 1. So every time you do a new one, you want to hit take and you want to update the take. Okay. Something's not right here, so it's not spelled right. And then it's just too big. So let's change the size. Go to about 96 and see what that looks like. Alright, so we said OK. And then we have our slate. I'm going to squeeze it down a little bit smaller. Hope I spelled my name wrong. Or, yeah, I did. So this is where you update your text down here in the text box. Alright, so that looks beautiful. Yeah, that's fantastic. So now we're going to rename it as Slate. Correct? Slate. Alright, Slate is something we watch. We're going to look at right at the very beginning down there. So we're going to put Slate down there. Alright. And again, I'm going to leave my theme at the very bottom so I don't have that issue of things stopping, music stopping when I don't want it to. Alright, let's try it. So AD would start us out. That's me in this case. Director, are you ready? I'm the director. I would say, yes, I'm ready. AD would say, TD, please check the crew. So I'm also the TD, so I'll say, yep, crew is ready. Alright, then the AD would say, please put Slate online. So if Slate wasn't online, say if Slate was not online, I want to make sure Slate is online. So let me go ahead and put it on. Slate is online. Alright, what I want to have though is I want to make sure black is on preview because I'm going to cut to black during my countdown period. Alright, Slate is online, and the AD says please record and acknowledge, and the technical director says stand by, and they go ahead and record. I'm going to go ahead and record. Start recording. You can see down here, record. Their digits are counting upwards. That means good things. We're recording. Okay. The technical director then says we have speed. Okay. So that means we are rolling. Everything's all good to go. Then the AD will say 30 seconds to the floor. So they'll have a stopwatch and they'll start counting it down 30 seconds. When it gets to 15, they're going to say stand by for black at 15 seconds. So let's just say we're at 15, stand by for black. And at 10, we want to cut to black. Okay, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Then the director starts directing at 5. Ready theme, ready image 1. And then they'll say 4, 3, 2, 1, and theme full, and fade in. Alright, so now we have some music going. We got our first image. Alright, let's insert our graphic. So you got to turn it on and insert graphic, and then turn it off to insert graphic out. Preset image 2, dissolve. Let's preset image 3. Again, we're just changing the visibility icon. That's how we actually turn it on. And dissolve. Standby image 4. When we say standby, that means we're going to do a cut. So standby image 4 and take. Standby image 5 and take. Preset video and turn on the visibility and dissolve and turn on graphic and insert graphic, standby to fade audio and video, and fade audio and video. Alright, and stop recording. Well, that's kind of it. Alright, so that fade of black at the end was a little rough, but we'll see how it looks. So I'm gonna go ahead and check my recording. So I gotta go find the recording, and it should be under that that path that we had looked at a minute ago, starting with it was on my hard drive, my user, and then it was in movies and OBS, and it's the most recent one. So this naming convention, it gives you the year, the month, the day, and then it gives you the time. So I had done one earlier at like 16, which is around 4 o'clock, and right now it's pretty late, so I want to try it again because I wasn't crazy about the quality of it. So let's take a look at this one. It'll open it up with QuickTime. So the slate's there, beautiful. Let's check it out. So you can set up your graphics, for example, to if you just wanted the title to come up at the same time as the image, you could have done it that way as well. There's other options. You just need to really play around. See, there's a little overlay problem there at the very top. You can see a row of pixels that didn't get covered up. I just want to kind of see what the ending looked like, because that fade to black seemed a little rough to me. I would prefer a slower fade to black. I'm not sure if the audio faded. Let's see what it sounds like. Yeah, not bad, actually. Acceptable. Alright, so anyway, that's pretty much it. So once you've done it, you usually want to try, you may have to do several takes, and I would suggest every time you do a new take that you change the number on your slate. So if I were to do another one, I'm not going to do one because we're already 32 minutes in. I would change it to take 2, and we try it again. Try to do better. Well, I guess what I was saying before about layering like the graphic over the first visual element. Yeah, so you could turn on the graphic and turn on the first visual. So for example, we can go straight from black to that, being a paired 2 elements, and then not sure why the music started, and then I can transition out of that directly to the images. So that's another option. Alright, that's all I'm going to go for today, and I hope this was helpful to you guys, or whoever else is watching this, and we will see you next time. Happy video.